It is game day at last. We can finally have fans that can get to go and watch Celtic, whilst the rest of us all around the world watch on TV. Anyway, in today's Celtic FC news, we've got some fantastic news. Obviously, Liel Abada is going to stay at Celtic. He has had a chat with the manager, and he's had a private chat, and he wants to develop at Celtic. So everyone thought he was going to be, but wait a minute. There's a guy down in Newcastle has said the mouth of the town NUFC Twitter account. Toonmouth Town. Anyway, I never understood people from Newcastle. He's suggesting that Celtic are in talks with a player at Newcastle. Leeds are also in talk with the player. Also, I'm going to pour cold water on it, because if you wait to the end of the video and I'll tell you who this player is, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's I don't think it'd be a good deal for Celtic. Anyway, and we'll talk about the fact that Chris Sutton's also been talking about Liel Abada today also. Right, the Liel Abada story. Liel Abada is only 21. Ange Postecoglou obviously didn't utilise him to the full extent that he could have at his time in the team, and Liel Abada then didn't sign a new contract because he felt that he was kind of undervalued, or he wanted away, or he wanted more game time. We don't really know. But it was suggested last season, everyone was saying that Liel Abada would probably be the one player that leaves Celtic this summer. After having a talk with Brendan Rodgers, and Brendan Rodgers, you know the way he does it, he likes to talk to players, finds out their ambitions, finds out what they want to do in the game. The player knows that he can be better and he can improve. If you improve on Liel Abada the way he is now, he's going to score more goals. His pace is electrifying. I think the fact that if you get Liel Abada on the ball, he'll score a lot more goals, and he'll have a lot more assists than he did last season and the last two seasons. You've got to remember he's scored 28 goals over the last two campaigns, and that has basically been coming off the bench. So I think from a Celtic perspective, the fact that he doesn't want to go this summer, you know, he will have had Big Bit on Near having a word with him as well, and saying, look, you know, Bitton wasn't in the team all the time when he first came to Celtic also, you know, and, you know, just bide your time and you'll become an absolute star for Celtic, he was probably told. So it's exciting news that the fact that he is going to stay. And there were obviously a few clubs that were kicking around looking at Abada, and we all thought that was going to be the winger that would go. We never thought it would be Jota. Let's be fair. People going on about last night, and people have been talking about the marquee signings that we're meant to be doing this year. When you look at the Celtic model, we had two players, one's left, you would say now Jota would have been that marquee signing. But you got to remember, we took Jota on loan when he first came to Celtic. We also took Cameron Carter-Vickers on loan. And Cameron Carter-Vickers was a bit of a journeyman at Tottenham. You know, he never got a chance at Tottenham. He was passed around like a soggy hanky to other clubs around England before Celtic came in calling for him. And now he's a mainstay of the club. He's basically the backbone of the club. He would be your marquee signing if we were buying him today on his current form and value. He would be your marquee signing today. So you never know that we could have a marquee signing at the club already. You know, there was a lot of people talking about it last night on the live, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because the lives are really where it goes at. And there was about 2,000 people on the hour live last night in total. That was fantastic. So yeah, when you look at the players that come in, we make stars. Henrik Larsson wasn't a big name. He wasn't a marquee signing when he came to Celtic, and he was the king of kings. Celtic. We spoke about also the fact that Celtic. Previously, when we went down the road of bringing in marquee signings, you think about Kane, you know, and it's players at the end of their career, you know, and they're coming into Celtic and they just want to have it on their CV that they played for Celtic. James McCarthy is probably one of those marquee signings that came to Celtic too late in his career. You should have had him at Celtic years ago when he was younger and he was more agile and a bit fitter. Anyway, overall, it's game day. We need to talk about what's going to happen today. In a minute, I'm going to tell you this Newcastle signing that it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I will be doing a live run about 2 o'clock today. About 2 o'clock, because the game, it'll be 1 o'clock UK time, because the kickoff's at 2, isn't it? Yeah, the kickoff's at 2 UK time. And it's 3 o'clock here. Anyway, it'll be an hour before kickoff. I'll go live, and we will just, when the teams are about to get announced, we'll go live. We'll have a live for about 20 minutes or so we can talk about Brendan Rodgers' first real team pick that's going to have any sort of significance on the way ahead this season. That'll give us an indication on how it looks like the team might play this season, and we'll look at the way that the team might set up. Also, now to the breaking sort of transfer news. Sort of Chris Sutton has said that, transfer rumours are all over, but, is there going to be any potential incomings? It has been suggested that we're looking at a winger. Now, a guy down in Newcastle, mouth of the Tyne, he has suggested that Celtic are in talks and Leeds are in talks with Ryan Fraser. Yep, the ex-Aberdeen player. But you have to remember, Ryan Fraser was valued by Bournemouth at one point at 30 million. He did then get sold to Newcastle for, I think it was around about 15 million. It suggested that his current market value is around about 5 million. Now, it's not the marquee signing that you want. I don't think this is a signing that will happen. I think he's an older version of Mikey Johnson. His hamstring injuries over the last few years have been pretty bad. Consistent hamstring injuries. But you never know, is it a type of player? And he's the wrong age for me. But we do need a bit of experience. Is he someone that's going to make a difference in the Champions League? I don't think so. I think it's nonsense. It's the only one person that I've seen talk about it, and it's a guy on Twitter that knows everything about Newcastle, everything Newcastle United with regards to transfer speculation and everything. Is there any truth in it? I don't know. I can't see it. Ryan Fraser coming to Celtic, not a chance. Not a chance. I hope not, because I don't think he's the type of player he's not the winger that would improve the squad. And a player that's had so many injuries, especially hamstring injuries, you've got to remember Ange Postecoglou's first season, people were getting hamstring injuries, but then that could be down to his fitness. So you never know. The club doesn't mean the club that aren't working, on deals. There could be stuff working away in the background. We did talk about that in the live last night, and it was fantastic. Everyone that commented on the live, and the fact that we hit nearly 2,000, it's just under 2,000 people were on the live come the end of the hour and 20 minutes that we were on. So make sure that you kick around today. Tell me what you think the score will be today. You can't really tell what the score will be in these friendlies. The last time that Celtic played Brendan Rodgers, Liverpool, was 2013, and that was an absolute mad bus trip. I could tell you a few stories. The bus that we took to Dublin that day, we actually took a turning into the wrong town, whilst we were still this side of the border, as they say. And it was all red, white and blue. What an absolute scream that was when we started pelting out Celtic songs on the bus at 9 o'clock in the morning in this little Masonic town. Anyway, on that note, I hope you have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world. Make sure that you join me just over an hour before kickoff. Once the teams are released, we'll talk about the team selection, and then we'll see you after the game also. So have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.